Well, good morning, everybody. I've got my coffee. Hope all of you guys do too. Welcome to Philip and Tim, our two most loyal attendees. You guys are going to be the smartest two people in real estate when we're done with all this craziness. And I don't know if any of you that are on the call have high school seniors. If you do, let me know, and let me know their big news, because today is senior signing day around the country in lots of different places. And unfortunately, my camera's going to do this backwards, but I'm going to reveal anyway. So my daughter is going to Syracuse. She's very excited about that. So I'm very excited. She's going to the Newhouse and Whitman, the dual major program. So she's going to be a communications expert. She'll be taking all this stuff over for me, hopefully someday, and I can retire. So anyway,
Awesome.
welcome to everybody today. We've got Jamie and Eddie Rodriguez here from CINC, and that's a really cool company. If you don't know that, what did Dennis say? Welcome to Western New York. Dennis, I grew up in Buffalo. Are you a Western New York guy? That's awesome. Thanks, Roy. Congrats from Roy. Yeah, and I guess you really shouldn't be congratulating me because it's $75,000 a year to go there, but whatever. I'm going to be working hard for the next few years. No retiring for Marilyn. Anyway, let me jump in real quick. Wanted to remind anybody that's on the call. Oh, Dennis is in Rochester. Yeah, I was in Buffalo. That we have on the control panel, there's a place to add questions. So just click on that little gray triangle that's next to the word questions, open that up, and then we'll do whatever we can do to answer your question in real time. And if there's something that we may hold at the end, but most of them we'll just answer in real time. So feel free to jump in, because we've got two super smart people with us today that know a lot about how to do lead generation and how to, to use the internet and to use virtual selling in ways that are super effective and frankly very profitable. We're going to hear about one of those in just a little while. So welcome, Eddie. Welcome, Jamie.
Thank you.
Jamie's a VP of marketing. Eddie is the director of product management. He was telling us before we started that he's worked with all kinds of National Geographic and AT&T. He's done tons of mobile development for some of the brands that you probably know and love beyond real estate. So thanks to you guys. I appreciate you coming today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so what we're going to talk about today, and this is obviously a very, very, very important topic for any salesperson, but certainly people in real estate, is how do you nurture your relationships with your clients, whether it be right now in the midst of all this craziness, which of course requires a little bit different kind of finesse, but importantly, think about your client, for the long term. And there was a term, and you guys, Eddie, you may have used this in your past life. It was called lifetime value, right? And there's a concept of,
absolutely.
Right? So we tend to think in real estate like we have one deal and then it's another deal and it's another deal. But the truth is, good realtors, and I'm sure many of you on the call do this, you think of it really as not only an individual personal relationship, but even a family relationship, right? So if you sell to a mom and dad, their child, goes off to college, graduates, does well, and then wants to buy their own home, you help them, right? So it's a continuum. Things, and even the same person, of course, can buy again and again and again. And so to understand how to be systematic and consistent about building and nurturing and maintaining those relationships it's really the heart of any salesperson's job, right? And that's kind of the way I look at it. So CINC's got some great stuff they're going to show us, but we're going to jump in first. Eddie's got some really interesting statistics just to remind us about the kind of things that are important and that are going to be even more important as we move forward. So we're going to talk about video, then we're going to talk about CRM, and some people still ask me what that word means, client relationship management. It is kind of a buzzword.
Totally fair.
Right? It is. It's kind of a buzzword that we all think everybody knows and they don't always know. And then importantly, some really exciting ways, some scripts, because we hear this all the time, like, okay, you tell me what to do, now tell me how to do it, right? We've got some great how to do it's for you today too. So I'm gonna turn it over to you, Eddie, and just take us through what you want to show us with video. It's really important
Awesome.
stuff.
So thank you very much, Marilyn. I'm excited to be here and talk to everyone. Video. So look, we are living in some pretty interesting and strange times, right? No one would have guessed that we would be kind of quarantined or locked into our homes for significant periods of time while we tackle some of the challenges, with the coronavirus. But with this, it has highlighted the need for still that human connection. And with technology, what is the most effective way with connecting with people besides actually physically being in the presence? Well, it's video. And what we've saw, lately is just the explosion of the usage of video, and it's allowing companies like CINC to enable brokers and agents to still maintain that pipeline of leads and that connection with the folks that are going to be needing a home when this is all said and done. Because let's not fool ourselves. We're going to get through this. And when we do, on the other side, we're still going to need to provide people with that dream home. And how we're going to do it? By keeping that connection on video. Next slide, Marilyn.
Okay.
And with this new world of, or actually kind of revamped world, we're seeing all sorts of players in the market recognize that video is where the market is going. Applications like TikTok, Snapchat, YouTube, FaceTime, Facebook Live, Instagram, all of these mediums are being used daily by your leads. And now, with some of the technology advances that Commissions Inc. and other players in the market are doing, you can talk to leads on a medium they understand. I mean, I see my daughters with their cell phones daily, and it's that struggle between a parent and a child of, hey, get off that thing and go play outside. But I realized to myself in 5, 10 years, that's their world. That's all they've known. So in these kind of times, this is where you as an agent or a broker can elevate your business, right? Uh, those are the folks that are.
Eddie, I think I'm sorry to cut you off, but I want to take a moment and show a lot of these solutions that each of us are looking at are available for free. So when we think about solutions, there's definitely pay to play, and there's many products out there, but regardless of where you are in production, where you are in the country, what your business looks like, using Google Earth, free, using Facebook Live. So I think it's important that sometimes as business owners, we always think that we need to buy the next best thing. But if you don't use it, it's not worth it. So there's free products, there's paid products, but neither work if you don't use. So I want to highlight that.
You're so right. And the other thing is, and if you guys have been on the coffee chats, you can relate. Like I don't do this perfectly by any means, not even close, right? I just jumped in and said, I'm going to make this happen, and I figured it out. And that's the thing. It's like you have to be gentle with yourself. We were laughing about before we got on the call about, oh my God, my hair's not perfect, or my glasses are crooked, or we get so inside our head that we give up on this stuff. And just a quick aside, if any of you have not been on TikTok, I know that sounds like such a goofy name. What the heck is that thing? But if you're having a bad moment during COVID, go to TikTok. I guarantee you'll find something that's goofy enough that it's going to make you laugh. Mm-hmm. But that's a really interesting one. I don't really know a lot of realtors that have conquered TikTok. Do you guys?
It's something that's just started to pick up steam.
Yeah.
So we're starting to see a lot of buzz around it.
Yeah.
I don't have any direct success stories that I could share any more than some of the hilarious videos I believe you guys may have seen either on the morning shows or the nightly news, just to kind of break up the sort of pandemic crisis news that you hear. There are some pretty funny, hilarious videos you see on TikTok.
Robert says, Marilyn, you look great. Thank you, Robert. You can come back every day now.
The one, when I was talking to a client last week, they were mentioning though, as maybe we've had our glamour shots 5 to 10 years ago, you need to make sure that glamour shot that's made on your business card matches who you are today. Sometimes we don't necessarily align and be real. So very important. Now that
I like to be 42 forever. Why not? What's wrong with that? Okay. Anyway, let's keep going. We're getting silly. All right, go for it.
Awesome. So I just wanted to share with you guys some notable trends. Again, I put a lot of data in here. Please, when we're done with this, take a chance to look at it. But I mean, you can look at the data here. It's pretty amazing. 8 billion video views a day. Like, can you put your head around 8 billion views? And you know, with these channels, it would just be foolish not to take advantage of this new technology. It really would.
And it
Next
doesn't
slide,
have
please.
to be, I think that's the thing, like video consumption doesn't mean in a studio with lights, with 14 camera operators, editors, all that stuff. It can literally mean turn on your phone, say something that you want to say, and send it to your client, right? It doesn't have to be. And if any of you were on the call we did a few weeks ago with BombBomb, they talked a lot about that. It's like
Yeah.
production value is not what we're looking for. It's communication that's important.
And when I was digging up this data, YouTube actually said in 2018 and 17, the highest paid YouTube user was a 14-year-old kid. Like, put your head around that. You know, we are in the times where video is not just Hollywood productions and these amazing special effects movies that you see. It is now in the hands of people like you and I that use it every day.
My daughter she's a dancer and she has a YouTube channel. She has 30,000 subscribers on it. And she started it when she was like 9 years old, right? So, I mean, she of course had some support from us, but again, to your point, you don't have to be, you know, Martin Scorsese to do this stuff.
That's right.
And in fact, I think if you try to get too fancy like that, things go the other way on you. People then you're putting that veneer back up. Like I think one of the best things about COVID is all of our veneers have been just thrown out the window. We're all in our own domain at home, right? You just got to see the real person. So
that's it.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, so that's the one thing I wanted to kind of leave you guys with. It's a lot of data here, but if there's one thing that you walk away with of anything that I've said, is this stat right here, right? 71% of people are watching more video than they did a year ago. The writing is, for lack of better words, is on the wall. And when you're out there, two things: make sure you got a plan, and real recognizes real. Like Marilyn was saying, your glasses might be crooked, the smile might not be right, the hair could have a couple of, well, not in my case, but a couple of hairs going here and there. But humans connect with humans. You know, not everybody wants that Photoshop picture. You know, me personally, I find more advantage in someone who's coming to me with a real approach. So I hope you enjoyed. Thank you, Jamie.
Perfect. Well, I think it's important when we think about video and leads and lead management and past and future business that we think about our database. This is the CRM, the conversion engine. CINC is one of the premier conversion tools in the space, and allowing you to import leads as sources and also generate leads for you. But once you have some sort of database, it's endless on the ways that you can sort and filter to find that next home buyer. So this is a perfect example, and I just wanted to pull out, whenever you're looking at your database, I think that there's always missing money that individuals are not looking at. And in this instance, if you use something just looking at login counts, high property views, those are the perfect individuals to either call or use video solutions. And so as you're processing through your database, I think that there's two directions many people are going. One is they're saying, yes, there's tons of opportunity in my database, my data bank, so I'm going to prospect and then leave reminders so I know when to follow up the next time. There's also individuals that are saying, I don't know what to do. I don't even know where to start. And so those individuals, once we bounce back and we find the next new normal, they're going to be in a very different place. So the individuals that are making those positive steps are setting themselves up for success in the future.
So I'm going to ask you a couple of really tactical questions about what you just said, Jamie.
For sure.
So let's say that I don't have, I follow the sticky note philosophy, which I know many of us do, right? So we made up some contacts over here, and there's some on the wall, and you know, my daughter-in-law told me to call someone, and you got all this stuff in your head, right? But we haven't taken that step yet to put it all in one place. And actually, I'd love to ask the audience, how many of you have some sort of a client relationship management system in place right now? Because that'll help us understand who we're, you know, how deep we can go here. But so we talked on other shows about getting your database in order, right? So that's one thing, is to get all those things and put them all in one place, right? But once you've done that, and if you say you haven't gone through the sort of a disciplined process in the past, how do you get yourself into it? How do you set it up? Like where do you start? Because it's kind of overwhelming if you've been in the business a long time. You've got, I don't know, 700, 800, maybe some people have thousands of clients, comments, or database names somewhere. What's like the first step? How do you get yourself past that? Like, oh my God, it's so overwhelming, I'm never going to get it done.
Well, I don't think that it's a perfected art. And so by just moving right forward with that most recent list of home buyers and importing them into some sort of database or getting them all in the same spreadsheet. And once you have that, you're going to have those individuals, and then go ahead and contact that small group of 30 or 40. I think so many times we bite off so much more than we can chew. And so we know that we have 800 past clients and we're trying to work on 800. But right now we have the opportunity to work and show yourselves as market experts with a few. And then once you perfect that first step with the 20 to 30, then add on more. I think so many times we see the big monster opposed to the little details that we can kind of proceed with.
Well, and let's talk about reality about CRMs. Okay, again, client relationship. There's Dennis and Jerry and Myra, by the way, 3 people on the call do have. Dennis has over 1,200 contacts in his, so he's probably like what you're describing. He's got a lot, right? My experience with CRMs is they work best when you stay in the process on a daily basis, right? So if you say, I'm going to call, make it up, 5 people today, 10 people today, 3 people today, whatever your time allotment will allow. How do you decide which 3, and then what do you do to make sure that you don't let them fall off your train, so to speak, right? You call them once and then you don't call them again for 2 years. Like, how do you make sure that doesn't happen in the process?
Perfect. I think that as our sticky mind logic, many of those technologies and tools allow you to set up those reminders. That's how, whenever you have that conversation, and when you talk about tactical steps, the conversations today don't look like, hey, Eddie, I'm ready to buy you a home or sell a home to you. Are you ready? That's not the scripting in the conversation we should be doing. It's 2 simple questions. How are you? How can I help? Those 2 questions allow you to understand. And then once you ask those 2, more likely they're going to then share, my dog is driving me nuts. I need a yard. Or I really wish I had an office space to be able to shut down and be able to hop on calls like we're doing today. And so I think there's 2 steps. One, there's those 2 questions, and then looking at the individuals that are logging into your platform. Maybe those are also the individuals that if you have on MLS alerts in your local area, the ones that are driving activity is where you should start. Because there's something that's popping in their mind that they need a home in the future whenever that future may become.
Okay, and then like if let's just say it's 3 calls for argument's sake. So if I say I'm going to call 3 people today, do I give myself time in between them, like on my schedule, to say, okay, I'm gonna call Eddie today. Once I reach Eddie, hopefully I'll reach Eddie. If not, that's 2 different paths, right? If I don't reach Eddie, how do I make sure that I go back to Eddie and I don't let him fall off of my radar, so to speak? Like, does the system help me do that, or how do I make that happen? So in other words, what's the discipline I should be using to make sure that I stay with each person for as long as it makes sense for me to stay with them, and that they stay with me, hopefully forever?
Absolutely. So basic sales principles will tell you text, email, and phone call in the orders of making a phone call and then sending a text, because we all now engage more with the phone now than ever. And then finally with an email with your value proposition. So then that way you're giving that potential home buyer an opportunity to talk with you and speak with you in a couple of different methods. There's many drip campaigns and cadences that you have within solutions to allow you not only to make that initial contact, but set up reminders and steps that auto do it for you. I think that's, as we move to technology now more than ever, we're real, but we should also be using technology to help us with some of those automatic communications as well.
And Dennis makes a good point. He said, even if they gave you a phone number, they usually don't answer. So they're not, and this time maybe they will because they're home and they're not as busy. But so your point is you got to find multiple ways to communicate, because the actual just
absolutely right. And
how are you doing?
You have to
also, work.
You also have to use the automation within the platform. We've built a lot of automated tools to help you manage the flow of your leads, and to help you get your speed to lead, to help you get down to the why, because that's where it comes down to. Why is this
Right.
person ready to make that life-changing event? Remember, a home purchase is probably the largest transaction most people will make in their entire life, and they only do it once or twice. So you have to get down to that why, and
Yeah.
don't hesitate to have a little faith in taking that first step and allowing the technology to help you through it.
So, and then this isn't about CINC, so I don't want to make this into a commercial for you guys, but just for argument's sake, if I get to that place where, okay, I've got my 1,200 names, I've got them in one place, I've spent, hopefully, people have a little extra time right now, they might get to that, and they're still like, I don't know where to go from here. Do you guys help them get into that automation process, help them figure out how to put people into different buckets and, do all of that stuff? 'Cause
Absolutely.
it's really overwhelming to get started with the CRM.
And that's one of the things when we talk about what's different about CINC is our service and the training on board. So if you're coming to us with the multiple links and databases, we're going to help you import those into our system. And then we're going to implement and do that VIP process to make sure as you're importing these leads, okay, how old are they? Let's set them up on new communication so you have a new website, and then you're able to re-engage. One of the things, it's just not the solution, but it's also making sure you know how to work the solution. And that's one of the premium advantages of CINC is that ongoing community and support.
TZ just asked a really good question. It's I think a good one to answer because everybody worries about this. What is the liability with the do not call list if you have not been in contact with someone for a long time? How do you
Eddie, do you want to take a stab at that?
Yes, I will.
Yeah, that's an important question.
So CINC, we are one of the most conservative companies when it calls to contacting leads. You'll hear this from our CEO. We have several tools, and we've implemented business logic that takes a look at your database and will not allow you to contact in an automated fashion or mass fashion unless they have been TCPA certified or qualified. So they have to accept our terms of service, terms of condition prior to the agent or broker being able to contact them. So we take very, very close to our heart the fact that agents and brokers are out there and have themselves in the line of fire for potential litigation. So we have not only business logic, but we also work with a third-party vendor to ensure that a lead that's being contacted in our system has been certified.
So you basically scrub them for the do not call, and if they can indicate, then you go back to and say you can't call these guys, or do you take them out of the database, or what do you do if they're on the do not call list?
We disable the contact mechanism.
Got it. Okay, that's good to know. So there's your answer, TZ, and I would guess that your fellow compatriots in the space probably do something similar, but that is a very important point. You don't want to get yourself in trouble with someone that's a little too cold that you haven't figured out where they are on that. Okay, great.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, so maybe we can talk about this just a little bit. I guess this is you, Jamie. You want to kind of take this one with us?
Yeah. So I think, and I alluded to this earlier, right now more than ever, indecision or no action is the wrong action, in my opinion. So I think with this, every journey begins with a single step. If you are at home trying to homeschool and do all that, along with run your real estate business, you just need to progress in the single step. Time blocking is an excellent tool. And along with that, making you think through what steps are you taking every day. And as we go to the next slide, it shows that there's tons of resources. And it's very tactical. Now more than ever, you should be practicing scripts. And so I'll close. When we close, we have tons of resources we want to provide to you for free, whether that's scripting on video. If you're doing virtual listings, practice. You can do it with your friends or find other real estates in the area and access training. Now more than ever, webinars like you're hosting right now, other products you have access to so many free tools. And so if you're not taking advantage and getting better, that's a missed opportunity that you could use in the future. And then as real estate agents, we talked about the real part of real estate, but also serving those in your community. When you ask those questions, how are you doing? How can I help? You're leaving them with the opportunity to know whenever they make their next real estate purchase, you came to them in a time of need, and so they'll be reaching out to you. And then as Eddie showed, all those tools, free or paid, they don't work until you use them, so making sure that you're doing. So if you do one of these 3 items every day, your business is in a better place.
And that second one, the community and community service, I know all of you guys are creative that are on the call. We've heard some really fun stories about the ways people have done that. One woman told us how she basically created little Easter egg hunts on the front lawn of all of her, and put a little gift bag to each of her clients or prospects. There's all kinds of fun things you can do. I have a person that sends me a Bible verse, not even a Bible verse, sort of a little moment of inspiration every morning. It's all kinds of fun things. Or, you got to find the thing that works, obviously. And back to the idea about free tools, Jerry Dragoon just threw something in, and which is great. He said, if you go to the FTC or the Federal Trade Commission, you can actually do your own search of up to 5 area codes for free. So even if you don't have a tool like this, and you haven't even put it into a system, that's a great way. Thank you for that, Jerry. That's a great suggestion. And probably most people aren't doing any more than 5 area codes. That's a lot. That's a big space, especially if you're a big slate. Yeah.
Right. And everyone is the individuals that are working in their business. I was sharing with you earlier, Marilyn, we have a client down in Savannah, Georgia, who, when you think about what do different markets look like, everyone's a little bit different, but he busted his tail in April. And so now in May, he's set up for 5 closings that will net right around $1.4 million and $35,000 in gross commission. So there are success stories. Individuals that are doing the work are seeing that return. It's not as great and grand as we may all be familiar with in the spring months, but there are still individuals that are going through those life decisions, getting married, expanding their family, retiring, kids going off to college, as you mentioned. So those life events, regardless of what situation that we're going to be in, are still going to happen.
Absolutely.
Exactly. I mean, I've heard lots of great stories about that, and it is, sort of your attitude. If you believe that the business is down, your business is going to be down. Everybody's business is probably down at some level, but I've heard some people that are doing more business than they've ever done because they got on the whole video concept that you were talking about, Eddie, and they've, figured out what being essential means or not being essential means in Michigan's case. They figured out how to use virtual closing tools, many of which we've showed on the show here. So it's a lot of it isn't what you do, it's why you're doing it and how you feel before you start, right? It's like anything. Whatever you focus on, you will get, as Tony Robbins likes to say. So it's good stuff. But these are great. But let's go to the next slide because you've got some actual things here, and we'll put these into the follow-up note that we send to you. But if anybody wants to grab them, tell us what we can get here for free because these are really helpful.
Yep. So the first one, the COVID-19 resources. As a team at CINC, we've put together products for not only our clients, but for real estate agents wherever you are in the market. And so these include scripting tools and videos about what's happening in the market, including lead generation. So at CINC, one of our solutions is premium lead generation, search engine and social. And what we've seen over the past 45 days is the cost per lead has declined, and it's at a 7-year low. So if you were spending $500 with us a year ago and you're spending that $500 today, the amount of leads that you're getting varies dependent on market, but you're getting more leads for that same return. And so I think that's very important as individuals are building their business. You have an opportunity to build that future pipeline. So that's the COVID-19 resources, scripts and other content. So whether you're looking at what an email should look like that you want to send, or just some of those other best practices are available on our blog. And then finally, if you're looking for a product to help manage your leads, convert your leads, do video messaging, we would love to have that conversation with you. And for that information, you can go to cincpro.com/webinar.
And if you look into the chat, if you click the little gray button next to the chat, we've put those links there too. So if anybody wants to grab them right now, feel free to go in there and get them because those are great. And I've had a lot of people ask me about scripts, so I'm glad that you included those because it is a different story. And frankly, I think guess the word that comes to mind for me is humility. Like everybody's got to be pretty humble right now and pretty gentle.
Sure.
Where no one's going for the jugular right now. If you do, you're wrong. It's just fundamentally wrong. It doesn't work. But you know, if we adopt that sort of gentle, supportive, I call it sort of servant-like tone, right? That can stick with us forever. That's never going to go out of style. It might translate a little bit about what you talk about. You know, the how are you doing is not quite as serious when we're back into a quote more normal life, but it's still the idea of coming at it as a servant. In fact, I have a whole training thing on that, which I should probably do a coffee chat about that now that I think about that. It's a really
Very
interesting
cool.
mindset. Yeah. That, you know, talks about the ways to treat your client as though they are, you know, you're their servant. And I know many of you do that, how you do so well in real estate to begin with. But thank you for sharing those. So again, they're on their cincpro.com/webinar, blog.cincpro.com, and go.cincpro.com/COVID-19. So go to any of those. If you go to CINC Pro, I bet you can find your way around to all of those. Is that right,
Absolutely.
guys? Yeah,
You've got it.
Go to cincpro.com and you'll figure it out from there. All right, good. So I got a couple of other things I wanted to just share with the audience. Let me see if we have any more questions. If anybody has any other questions for these guys, they're a wealth of knowledge. Dennis says the challenge once we get past COVID is in my area is that inventory shortage was a major issue, and it continues. Right? It's if anything, it's worse right now, right? Because some people have pulled back. So yeah, and which is a good thing for pricing, obviously, right? And the other thing is that when we talk to consumers, which we're in the midst, we have a research study in the field right now with consumers. They're not quite still aware of all what's going on with mortgage rates as I think they could be. So if if someone gets to the place where they say, yeah, I'm kind of interested in what's going on out there, don't forget to promote that, because that's a great tool for you guys for sure.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So I just wanted to remind us for next Monday, we have a really interesting one. We have Lynn Leadgard with us. She's going to talk to you about if you're in a market where earnest money collection is normally done with a paper check and you have to drive and drop it off at 3 different places. That's not an issue anymore. There's ways to do that online. Lynn has one of those companies, and there's several others. I've also heard, and you might, if you haven't checked lately, you might want to check in your market. I heard just about a week ago that there's 20 states now that have approved e-notarization. So I don't know which 20 they are. I'm going to try to get that for you guys, but I would check, because it's happening like in real time that states are approving that based on what's going on with COVID. So another way to, not slow down a closing is to be able to deal with that stuff. And then Tuesday next week, we have Molly McKinley, who's one of my favorites. She's the VP of Brand Strategy for Rate My Agent, which she'll be talking about. But she's also just a great marketer in general, and she's going to talk to us about why the whole concept of intentional marketing makes more sense than ever. And she'll explain to us what she means by intentional marketing. It's kind of a cool idea. Dennis just says, yeah, New York closing isn't a problem. You've had that. You still have attorneys, I think, to work with in New York, right? But they've had a lot of electronic transaction platforms in place for a while. So, and New York certainly still has a lot of COVID issues. So that's good to hear. Yeah, and finally, just in case any of you have not yet taken advantage of these things, Myra says Florida uses virtual closings and notary services. Yeah, I think they were one of the first, actually, Myra, if I'm not mistaken. But so if you go to YouTube, type in RE Technology Inc., the way that I have it described there on the screen, subscribe to our channel and hit that little bell, then that you'll get notifications every time one of these new recordings comes out, because there's a lot of good things, and I know you guys are busy. You may not be able to come every single morning, even though some of you do, and I totally appreciate that. And then also, if you go into your MLS and check and see if you have RE Technology available to you. If you do, just click on that and you'll register automatically. It's normally a $200 a year program, but you'll get it for free through your MLS, and there's many around the country that offer it. If not, for whatever reason that they do not have it, we're happy to give you a free 3-month subscription to this so that you can take advantage of all these types of tools. So just go to retechnology.com, click up on the top right-hand side. There's a little button that says Create Account. Click on the monthly version and then use one of these programs, and you'll be good to go. And also, I think if any of you want to, let's see, yes, in the chat box, I'm sorry, I should have mentioned it. If you want to register for the Monday coffee chat, grab that link and go for it. If any of you would like us to register you automatically for all of the coffee chats coming forward, drop in your email there and we'll do that for you so you don't have to worry about it. And then you'll be able to see either live or recordings of all of these things. You'll get them automatically. So we're happy to continue to help with this. And thank you so much, CINC, Eddie and Jamie. Great stuff.
Absolutely welcome.
Thank you.
And if anybody needs anything from them, go to cincpro.com. They'll be happy to help you out. But lots of good advice. And thank you for the audience participation. Lots of good suggestions from you guys, too. All right.
Thank you very much.
All right, Leah Goldstein wants live or recordings. Yeah, we'll register you for that, Leah. Thank you so much. But anyway, everybody have a great weekend. Hopefully you've got some live virtual open houses scheduled. If you haven't yet, that's something to check out. By the way, just a quick aside on that. I did some checking this week, and I think every single MLS system provider now has made that available to each of the local MLS organizations. So if you go into your MLS and you don't see a way to do that, I would definitely reach out to them and say, hey, I've heard that everybody, pretty much all MLS systems, I know Matrix does it, Flex MLS does it, I believe Paragon does it. What other ones am I missing? Trying to think off the top of my head, but they're pretty much everybody's got that. So if you want to try that, the video concept that Eddie was talking about, don't let the MLS slow you down. Also should let you know that Realtor.com is doing, which I think CINC probably partners with, they're now doing live stream open houses. So if you build one, you post in your MLS, it's going to get syndicated across to lots of different platforms now, which will help your lead gen effort. So
absolutely.
Yeah, so make sure to check them out. Live stream, it's called Live Stream Open House. If you type that into Realtor.com, you'll be able to find that. Okay. All right, everybody, you have a great weekend, and thank you so much, and keep selling. Have a great day, and hopefully we'll see you Monday morning at 9 o'clock again. Bye-bye.
Bye.